So let's talk about it from this perspective. So existence. So we live in an existence here. So we always spend all of our times trying to figure this stuff out. Where, who, why, when. We're like this. What you're trying to share with us so far, how I'm understanding it is, okay, well, let's just let that go for a minute. Let's work with what we got. These are the tools we work with, and let's figure out how to live in existence versus figuring out who or what created us. Is that more so?
I think that's right. I think that's the way I'm trying to say. Let's deal with what we've got.
It's very pragmatic.
I, ladies and gentlemen, am a psychiatrist, which means I'm a doctor, which means I like to help people get better. Okay. It's kind of a deep instinct, starting with trying to help my mother become a better mother, that is kind of like keeps going. So right now, my interest, and I hope yours, is in trying to do something about how we're destroying ourselves, how we're destroying our nest here. That we human beings, I call it the collective human organism, or can be, it's not yet that. The collective human organism can turn back the destruction of the planet that we are causing by global warming, but also the way we eat is a major problem. We're destroying rainforests because they want to eat a hamburger. That can't keep going. So I recognize we have to be practical. So yes, I am trying to develop a practical model that incorporates some of the ideas of parapsychology that are practical, useful, and palpable that we can get a hold of, so that we can band together as a collective human organism to help avert the suicidal tendencies that we are now demonstrating.
I think it's actually really good because it broadens the horizon of how many people can connect to it. So because some people are not spiritual and they're not interested in being spiritual, and some people are very spiritual, so it really is helps to connect both sides of that. And I think it's actually really good. And I think it's a great way to look at things.
And it feels like, from what I'm understanding, it removes the aspect of a reliance on religion or faith or spirituality, whatever that may be, and more reliance on yourself, so that people instead of getting let down on suicidal tendencies because
why didn't this happen? Why didn't that
happen? The rapture didn't happen, or whatever didn't happen. You know what I mean?
God did to me, or the devil, or what's going on?
Right. Yeah. So this pushes it back on them. So yeah, okay. That am I in line there?
Yeah, you pushes it back on them, who is us. Right. I am you, and you are me, and we are we together. That's the walrus. That's the walrus.
Does that consider one? Does that consider one an atheist of sorts, or where does that line come in? Like, is that why an atheist becomes an atheist? Because it's not necessarily that they're not an atheist; they just don't believe in the way things are. I mean, how do you see that part of it?
Atheist comes from the word a, without, and theo, God. And I think most atheists would say that maybe they don't believe in a particular religion, but some of them don't believe in God. And part of the problem is God is kind of elusive, like the elusive butterfly of love. You may remember that old song. I mean, what is God? What do we mean by God? And unfortunately, a lot of people think God means the guy with the white beard and sitting on a throne someplace, which was the old idea of God, but it isn't the best way to think about it. So we need to reformulate what we mean by God.
Which is, I think that is the
how were you doing a chorus there? That was nice.
Wouldn't the solution though be then for that particular thing is to really remove then? I mean, isn't the ultimate answer, let's remove religion out of the way? Because that's the thing that seems to mess with people's head or manipulate.
But here's the whole thing.
Mind. What?
Here's the whole thing though. The word God has caused so much havoc and destruction. I think a broader way to look at it to help people connect better is to refer to it maybe as a higher intelligence or infinite intelligence or an source energy. I think the word God is a huge part of a lot of the issues for a lot of people.
The words matter, which is why I talked about what we mean by universe to start with, that The words matter. And I believe that the two of you there in Florida can get this one. But I want to see if you've thought about this.
Oh man, no pressure.
No pressure. Okay. Just heavy pressure on raw pressure on raw spirituality. What are we going to do with this? I would like to get to a place where we can communicate telepathically. Oh, good.
I love that.
I think we're getting there.
I love that.
I think we're moving in that direction.
I believe we are. I believe we don't understand that we're communicating telepathically, i.e. your book, Meaningful Coincidences.
And I think a lot of people don't believe that they have the ability to communicate through telepathy.
And I would love to get to that point too myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was on a show with a woman in London, and we were talking about the same thing. And she says she's teaching her grandson to be telepathic.
That's excellent.
And I said, how do you do that? She said, I think of an image and I ask him what comes to his mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's just practice. You have to believe you can do it, and then you got to practice doing it. But first we have to think it's possible. Mm-hmm. And both of you think it's possible. And what's the advantage of communicating telepathic? I'll ask you, because I have an answer to that. But what's the advantage? What are advantages?
It's instantaneous, number one. So you don't have to worry about somebody being on the phone or in another conversation. It's instantaneous, but you're transferring your thoughts and your energy. And a lot of reasons, I think another reason why it's good. Let's say, for example, you got in an argument with someone and you want to call them back, but you can't for whatever reason, or they're not picking up the phone. But what you could do is send them telepathic messages of love, or I'm sorry, wasn't what I meant to say, or so you can have instant communication throughout these energy signals that you are directing towards a specific person, place, thing, object, whatever. You
still want me to go after that one?
Well, yes, I do. But let me respond to April first. I mean, I know I do that with one or two people. And I rather than text or email, I just send it out. It kind of like it seems a little easier, and I have a little evidence of that. But that she was doing it to me in a way that I didn't know about it. That became a little tricky. So we have to be careful about how we enter other people's minds. Mm-hmm. It's a tricky thing to do it well. I like it as a information communication, because I can like picture the psychosphere and the higher self and the balloon and in the mental atmosphere, and I can get that across to you really fast. My words can help sharpen the images. I think words are helpful in sharpening, but the images are what's important. Mm-hmm. So those are Jay. What do you have to say about that?
I would say keep the emotions out of it. It keeps everything very level. It's very pragmatic. It's responsible, and you deal with things without all the drama. Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea. I've had to think about that, because that's kind of what I'm thinking anyway. But that's making what I'm thinking more explicit. You have to be careful about firing a lot of feelings across the channels, and that's what. And part of what I got in trouble with, I think she was putting some feelings in there that I got all jazzed up about, which I thought was me, but it wasn't me, it was her too. And then when she told me what was real, I said, oh, okay.
Well, when you think about it too, animals, that's how they communicate. They communicate 100% telepathically. So if animals can do it, highly probable.
And it's interesting. Those are the beings that love us the most. There's unconditional love there.
They have no issues.
Interesting. They communicate with us without words, but yet they love us the most.
Mm-hmm.
So the brain, as you researched throughout your years of study, is it true what they say that we really have only unlocked just a small potential of it, of what really is accessible to us?
Along comes my daughter, Kelly Garvey, she says, excuse me.
It's all right.
She says to me, Mom, I'm feeling great. I got a direction in life. You got to do this. Follow me. So here comes Asiya.